Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everybody. Hello Mommy TV. Thank you for being here and spending a second with me from Edwin's Live. I know you're probably headed back there now, but thank you for any amount of time that you're willing to spend with me today. So today, of course, is going to be the continuation of my French lesson for all of you. So hopefully everybody will enjoy this and learn at least something from this. So hopefully, you guys, you will like this, and we'll be adding a few words to your vocabulary in French. So today I'll do a little bit something different, like I usually try to do. I try to bring, different lessons and incorporate the French into real life scenarios, or maybe things that you're actually interested in. So today I'll be translating quickly a recipe. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this and you'll have an additional recipe to hopefully practice and utilize. Hello, hello, HM. Thank you. I believe this is the first time I'm seeing you online live. Thank you very much for being here. So today I am teaching some French. So hopefully you'll be learning a few things with me today. I'll be presenting a recipe in French. So hopefully you'll be learning both French and a new recipe. So I'll be getting that in a second. So I'm just going to go review a few couple little words that I've already taught you guys, and hopefully you guys do remember it. But if this is the first time you're seeing it, it'll be your first lesson, and hopefully you'll be leaving with a few more words of French in your vocabulary. So we're going to get into it in a second here, guys. Hello, hello, great farmer freelance. How you doing, Shane? I'm glad to see you. It's of course my French lesson today where I'm teaching you guys how to speak French. And of course, yesterday I was trying to learn how to speak Spanish, but you know that already. You know everything, I know. So hopefully today you'll learn a few words of French. I'll be using a recipe tonight as my French lesson. I won't actually be cooking because for me, cooking is one of those other things that's like, unless it's very basic stuff, I am not cooking for anybody, including myself. Hello, hello, Diane. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your continued support. And the great news, guys, is I'm a few subscribers away. And I literally mean a few away from the 1K. And that's literally the only thing I have left, I should say, to get monetized. Now, of course, I'm happy about it. I'm excited about it. But of course, like I said, we have to be very careful. YouTube is tricky. They give you and take away, give you and take away. Like I just checked now. You see, a moment ago, I was at 993. Now I'm not at 990. Oh, YouTube does not want me to win. I swear. Oh my God, YouTube, please. I just want to be monetized. That's it. Please, YouTube, please. Oh, it's frustrating, but I love it. What can I do? And I'm one of those things, before I start the lesson, I'm not going to be ashamed of saying it. We should all be paid to be on YouTube. I think recently, I think maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, YouTube announced a over 40 billion, that's right, billion-dollar profit, right? So after they paid their employees, after they paid their electric bill, after they paid everything that they had to pay, they made $40 billion. That means in reality they made a lot more money than that. Because if you have, because as you all we know, sorry, I barely speak English, and how am I teaching you guys French? As we all know, in order for a company to make profit, profit is revenue minus expenses, and whatever you have left over is a profit. So basically, if they have, a profit of 40 billion, but they have expenses of 2 billion, that means they made 42 billion in reality. That's how much revenue they have, right? And they had $2 billion of expenses. And so for me, Why shouldn't you guys be making money? Why shouldn't I be making money? If YouTube can make, now granted, I'll give you, I'm not exactly bringing in the big bucks for YouTube. I'm maybe giving them a few pennies, but I want my share of those pennies too, and I make no shame about it. Hello, hello, Bud Files, how you doing? Thank you for being here. And you guys should want to make money as well on YouTube, right? You guys work for this content, right? You guys are spending time, money, energy, whatever to create content. You guys deserve your fair share of that profit just as much as I do, just as much as YouTube does. Now, I'm not going to be here griping about YouTube on anything and everything. They technically could be charging us for to use a service. They do it for free, but still, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. You guys deserve money. I deserve money for the time and effort that we put into the content that we create. So that's why for me, I make no bones. I'm not ashamed of it. I want to make money. I'm not expecting to make $1 trillion here. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm going to be realistic here. I know I'm not bringing in, a million people. As much as I'm grateful for you guys being here, I don't have a million fans in my chat. But hey, I'm still here. I'm still creating content. That's time and energy that I'm spending, and I think I deserve money. I think you guys deserve money to be here. Now, get it? I get it. Some of you are just out on YouTube, just enjoying yourself and having fun. If you don't want to make money, that's fine. That's your choice too. You know what I mean? But hey, I want to make money. Hello, hello, Mr. Real Estate. How you doing? Caught some of your live last night. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch all of it. You tend to work on LA time, and not only LA time, but LA Black people time, which means when you say 9 p.m., you really mean whatever other time after 1 a.m., which usually means I'm in bed. So, but I did catch a little bit of it. So, but yeah, I'm just here ranting a little bit before I get into my French lesson, but I will be getting to it in a moment. So, yes, tonight, almost real estate, almost. I'm literally 10 away, and I was just saying a moment ago, I was at 993. Now I look back, I'm at 909. Literally within a few minutes, three are gone. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you so much. YouTube. And I knew it was gonna happen, right? I knew. Yes, colored people time. Yes, I call it Trinity time because my mother is from Trinidad. So, yes, Trinity time for sure. It's like it's it's a suggestion. When we say nine, it's 9-ish. Just to add a couple hours to that, for sure, for sure. But anyways, I digress. But I will get to the French lesson in a moment. But yes, it is the struggles of YouTube. We all know that at one point, once you get, thank you, Shane. Thank you. I hope so. I hope so. I know I'm. It's not gonna. I need that little bit of a push to get to over 1K, and then it's just a question of waiting a little bit, be patient, because I don't want to celebrate too early because I know that's what's going to happen. That's why I figured, okay, I'm going to at least work on my watch hours, right? So the watch hours, I know it's the up and down that I needed it to be. So I know I'm there with the watch hours, but I know that's why I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm looking at the numbers. I know I'm going to get a little over 1K, then it's going to drop. I know it's going to happen. I know how YouTube works. I'm going to see the drop, and then I know that it's going to come back. I don't have to worry. So I know a couple. It's going to get to that number, then I'm going to have to come back, but I'll get there. I'll get there. Thank you, Mr. Real Estate. Very nice of you. But yes, for sure, I know I'm very, very close to it. And like I was saying, for me, I make no shame about it. I'm in it for the money in part, but also I want to be able to not only use that money for myself, but also to help the community. You hear stories, and I'm not going to name any names, but you hear stories of people making 5,000, 40,000, $100,000 a month on YouTube. And yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, part of you wants to make that money too. You know what I mean? I don't know about you guys, but I have a few things that I would love to be able to do with that 5K extra in my pocket or that 100K or whatever, even if it's just $100. For me, $100, that's my bus pass every month. You know what I mean? That's transportation for me, right? So even if it's just a few dollars, that $3 is a little extra that I don't have to worry about for something that I know I need to take care of. But even if, let's say, I make it big for some reason, and I'm now making 20K a month, 30K a month, 100K a month, even if part of it goes to me and my expenses, think of the cost of going to college in the US, right? It's 40K every month for one semester, or I should say, sorry, 1 year of college in the US. Imagine you're making 40K, right? You could be sending what, three, four kids to school the entire 3 years of their college life in a year. You're sending three people, four people to college every year that you're making 4K a month. You're telling me you're gonna pass that up because, oh well, you're no, because even if you want to be a generous, caring person, that money could help so many people in the community. And that's just if you're thinking about college. You could be sending people to trade school, which is so much cheaper, right? Hello, hello, another Shane. So we have two Shanes in the building. We have Paralife TV, who's named Shane, and of course, Great Farmer Freelance, who's also named Shane. And of course, we have Michael, who's Mr. Real Estate. And I do know we have another person here in the building, but I don't know your real name. The Bud Life, I don't, Bud File, sorry. I don't know your real name. I know Dayang is Dayang, but the Bud Life Files, I don't know who, if you want to say your real name or not, but we do have you as well in the building. But yeah, so I mean, for me, 40K every month. Hello, Johnny Small Pepper. How are you? Thank you for being here. So I mean, for me, if you're potentially could do a side business, a side hustle, whatever you want to consider YouTube, right? And you could potentially make 40K a month doing that, whatever. Yes, Shane is definitely a great name, wonderful name. But whatever you could do with that money, imagine you have 40K of income every month that's coming in. Just doing what you would normally do. I'm coming up here doing French lessons for you guys, regardless of whether I'm making 40K or not, right? But with 40K, I can send a couple people and hey, you know what? You need to go to college. Here's 5K, here's 20K, here's whatever, right? Why not? Why not? Anyways, I digress too much. I'm going to get into the French lessons because you guys aren't here to hear me rant and rave about YouTube. I'm sure I'll make a video on that. So I'm going to get into it, guys, before I start long stroking, as the saying goes, as somebody else, another YouTuber always says. So we'll get into it before I start making this short live into a 20,000 hour live. And that's definitely not the goal here. I'm not Mr. Real Estate here that I can do a 3 hour, 4 hour live. I did that quote unquote when I was younger. Now it's like, you know what, a 30, 45 minute live is more than enough for me as far as I'm concerned. So we'll get into it, guys. But by all means, if you guys have questions or anything, if there's a word or a sentence or something that you want to learn in French, do let me know. Don't hesitate, guys, to ask me questions. I'm definitely more than happy to answer and help you guys. I'm here to teach you guys French. I already know how to speak French, so for me, this is nothing new or norm or out of the ordinary, I should say. So if you guys need anything, let me know. So we're gonna get into it, guys, without any further ado. So of course, hopefully you guys did see the poll and you guys are answering that question. It's a very basic one, and I'll be, of course, giving you guys a major hint because, of course, we're going to start with that as our normal greeting for today. So, of course, today we're going to ask how to say hello, how are you in French. So, if you haven't answered the poll yet, of course, give me 30 seconds. You'll find out the answer to the question in 30 seconds. But of course, I know you guys are all big brain people because, well, you're obviously with me here. So you must be big brain people. You must be intelligent people of good taste, obviously, if you're hanging out here, right? So hopefully you guys know that to say hello, how are you in French, it's nothing complicated. You guys have heard me say this before, right? And I know Shane, i.e., Great Farmer, you're Canadian, so you should. Actually, both of you are Canadian. Actually, both Shanes are both Canadian. I think both of you are from Newfoundland, New Brunswick, somewhere in that area. I think, if I remember correctly. I keep mixing it up, but I know one day I'm going to get all my information quite correct on both of you. But I know both of you are from the east coast of Canada, which is probably why there's probably a lot of Shanes. But both of you should know that the answer to the question is, how do you say hello, how are you in French is, drum roll, bonjour, comment ça va? Hello, how are you? I'm obviously not telling you guys anything new. If you're Canadian, you should be knowing this already. And by all means, guys, if you're in one of my lives, speak as much French, as much freedom fries, or however you want to call it, in the chat. Feel free. Practice it as much as you want to. I have no problem with that. So I'll repeat it again, guys, so that you guys can hear and know how to pronounce it properly. So the first word is bonjour, or good day, is the literal translation, but hello would be the more appropriate translation. So bonjour, bonjour. Okay. The three other words are comment, how, ça va, are you? Comment ça va? So that little accent underneath the C in that third word, the C usually in French is more of a like a K sound. It's much more hard, but that little accent underneath the C makes it in more of a S sound. So it becomes ça va. So it's like a much more of a certain sound. Okay. So bonjour, comment ça va? Right. So obviously, guys, what I'm teaching you, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit of that little pronunciation and all that. So obviously, when you're hearing two French speaking people talking to that, you're not going to hear as much of that pronunciation as I just say. But I'm intentionally doing that so you guys can hopefully hear it. And once you're starting to talk and speak with other people that are French speaking, you'll know to just pick up the pace, as the saying goes, right, and to just apply it in a much more quicker way. Yes, brothers from a different mother. That's right. It's like I'm pretty sure both of you are from New Brunswick or that general area there. But I figured Shane is a fairly common name in that neck of the woods. Just like the family name Tremblay in Quebec is going to be fairly common here. There's just certain names, either first name or family names, that like look everywhere in the world, right? There's going to be that name that everybody knows, that everybody has, or knows somebody that has that first name or last name or whatever the case might be, right? It's just so typical. But hey, what can you do? A good name is a good name, right? And we all know Shane is a very good name. So we're going to continue, guys, with our French lesson. So obviously, when somebody asks you how you doing, you want to be able to answer them, right? Of course, we're going to keep our answers fairly positive here, but of course, you could be having a bad day. I hope you guys aren't having a bad day. I hope you guys are having a great day. But here in the answer, we're going to give a positive answer here, folks. So, of course, we're going to tell people, je vais très bien aujourd'hui et toi? I'm doing very well today, and you? Okay, so we're just going to get back to that in a second. Oh, Nova Scotia, there we go. Sorry, I know I'm wrong in some way, but it's okay. We love the East Coast no matter what. So we Quebecers, we're protecting the East Coast from the Ontarian influence, so it's okay. We got you. We got you. No matter what, we still love you. It's okay. Don't worry. We're all part of one country, anyways. It doesn't matter. So I'm glad to have you guys here, no matter what. So we're gonna get back to this sentence. So je vais is I'm going. Okay. So of course, going is the verb. So you could be going, literally, physically going, as in you're traveling, right? I'm going to Toronto. I'm going to Newfoundland. I'm going to Nova Scotia. I'm going to New Brunswick, right? But it's going as in feeling as well, right? Your feelings go places, right? They bring you to places. Sometimes not so good places, but they bring you to places, right? Très bien is very well. So that's the first four words. Je vais très bien. I'm going very well. That fifth word, that very big word, I can't tell you the origins of it, but it is a big word just to say today. Literally, that big word, the fifth one there, is all just to say today. Aujourd'hui, right? Aujourd'hui. So you're breaking it down into three syllables here. So I'm going very well today. Je vais très bien aujourd'hui. Right? So again, guys, I know I'm exaggerating in the pronunciation. When I say we're not going to pronounce all that, we're not going to be as articulate. But of course, since I'm teaching you guys, it of course means that I have to slow things down and over articulate. And the last two words are et toi and you. Okay? So I'm going to repeat it, and I'm not going to put out much pronunciation so that you guys can hear that difference, so that you guys can hear how quote unquote it's supposed to be said versus how somebody who's teaching you guys how to speak French would say. Je vais très bien aujourd'hui. Et toi? So, right? So, you guys heard that difference. I'm obviously saying a lot faster, not as much pronunciations. There's certain, just like in English, there's certain words you kind of just naturally learn to just jump the pauses between the words and all that, that we naturally, or at least we're supposed to be having, right? You kind of know when to speed things up, when to combine words. Instead of saying you all, for example, in English, you'll just say y'all, right? There's certain words that you kind of just know, even if it's not necessarily prim and proper, you just know, look, we all need, every language has their y'all, right? Every language has that combination that you're just going to do naturally, no matter what. So, anyways, as promised, today we're going to learn two things. We're going to learn how to speak French, obviously, but we're going to have a recipe. So that's the second thing that we're going to learn is a recipe. Now, obviously, I'm not a great cook, so I won't be actually cooking this recipe in front of you guys, unfortunately. But I'll be giving you guys this recipe. It is a free recipe that I saw online, so you guys can always have it afterwards to maybe try to cook the recipe for yourselves. Maybe I don't know. It's up to you guys. Excuse me. But hopefully you guys will enjoy this recipe for yourselves and try it out. Right? You're more than welcome to just maybe not do it today, but or maybe find a recipe in English is absolutely fine. But hey, either way, I hope you guys learn something from what I'm about to show you guys. So let's get to it. Let's share that beautiful screen. And obviously, don't mind the ads. I have obviously no control over that. I'll try to close as many of the ads as I can. I mean, it's kind of annoying to see ads, especially when you're not getting paid. But hey, it is what it is. Okay, let me click the right button so I can share the right thing. All right. So this recipe is going to be for beef shawarma. Okay, beef shawarma. Now again, guys, I'm not being promoted by anybody. So you guys don't want to cook this recipe, you want to cook this recipe, it's up to you guys. I'm not making any money. I'm not going to lose any money if you decide to do this recipe or not, right? So don't feel obliged to cook this. It's really up to you guys whether you want to cook this recipe or not. I'm not here to force you guys one way or the other. I'm really trying to just use this as a sort of, like I do with all my French lessons, to sort of have a kind of fun, more real world examples of French and really trying to get as much of your senses involved in learning the language. Because I've learned and noticed that when you get many different of your senses involved in learning a new skill, the easier it is, right? So if you get your smell involved, your eyesight involved, your hearing involved, all of that, right? The more of your senses you get involved in learning something, whether it's a language or a physical skill like riding a bike or motorcycle or whatever, that you tend to it tends to be easier and it can also be a lot more fun too, right? So cooking is a great way to learn not only how to cook but potentially learn another language or another skill. All right. So let's get going here, guys. So this is from Recette du Québec. So obviously these tends to be recipes much more related to, of course, the province of Quebec, but you know, no bias, no bias. Okay, okay, plenty of bias, plenty of bias. So this basically is, of course, the recipe. There's unfortunately no pretty picture to go with this, unfortunately. But yeah, we're going to, as you can see, just go through this and really try to deal with as much of this as possible, right? Um, Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also put the link to this in the chat. So, for those of you guys who want to kind of just Google translate this recipe afterwards and try it on your own, it's absolutely fine. Again, no obligation, guys. I I don't get paid for this. So, if you guys want to do this recipe on your own, if you don't worry about it. No, you hurt feelings as far as I'm concerned. I'm not losing any money. I'm not getting any money. So you guys are more than welcome to do with this recipe as you want. So again, this is for beef shawarma. So that's the recipe. So more than welcome, guys, if you want to put it in Google Translate. I'm not going to be offended. Again, guys, I'm here to teach you guys. And sometimes we need to see the words in English before we can understand them in French. So we're going to start with uh, the left column here. I won't go through all of this because it is a lot, guys. But I do want to at least get you guys some ideas and hopefully get you guys hungry a little bit and get you interested in having some beef shawarma and learning the recipe for yourself as well, right? So hopefully you guys will have a wonderful cooking experience tomorrow. Hopefully, right? Because I don't know about you guys. I've been having hamburger far too many times. Hamburgers and fries and beer. As much as I love it, it's sometimes you need a little bit of something different. So, and that's kind of why I try to do these lessons in a little bit of a different kind of way to kind of get you guys thinking and doing things a little bit differently in your life. Hopefully, I'm succeeding. Hopefully, but you guys tell me. All right. So let's get into it. So we're gonna get this left hand side here, top left, the ingredients. So of course this deals with two portions. So deux portions. Okay. So in this case, the words are basically the same, but obviously pronunciation will make the difference, whether it's in English or in French. So two portions becomes deux portions, right? Two portions, deux portions. So basically, this is a recipe that the ingredients will give you two portions for basically one portion per person, essentially. Or if you're a greedy little piggy like me, it's all for me no matter what. No, no, of course I share. Sharon is Karen, of course, guys. We all know this. Oh, scallops. Ooh, aren't we fancy? Ooh, well now, excusez-moi. Ho, ho, ho. Bonjour, Cashflow. Bonjour, bonjour. So another French speaker in the building. Thank you for being here, Cashflow. I'm teaching our fellow citizens of YouTube a little bit of French. So feel free to let them know if I'm doing right or wrong in my French lessons here today. But I hope you're doing well tonight. J'espère que tu vas très bien ce soir et que tu as eu une très belle fin de semaine. For those of you that don't understand what I just said, I just asked Cash Flow if she had a great weekend, and I hope she's having a great day and night as well. So, cash flow, just to let you know, I'm teaching everybody some French tonight, and I'm using this wonderful recipe for beef shawarma. Beef shawarma. Okay, so it's an opportunity maybe for you as well, cash flow, to have a good recipe since you already know how to speak French, and I assume you know how to read it. I hope at least, please, please. Hello, hello, James Gippy Gippy. How you doing? I hope you're doing well as well, and I hope you also had a great weekend. So let's get into the ingredients. So hopefully you guys are still here with me and following along, and please, hopefully you guys are pronouncing the words with me as well, because it's not just a question of hearing me or reading the words, but it's also saying them. Anytime that you learn another language, I'm learning this from trying to learn Spanish myself. It's not just hearing it or reading it; it's also pronunciation that will help you learn a new language. It really is, like I said before, the more of your senses you get involved with learning a new skill, whether it's a language or whatever it is that you can think of, the better and easier and quicker it will be. Okay, great. I'm glad you're doing very well, cash flow. C'est bien, merci. Hello, hello, Mama French girls. How you doing? Comment ça va? Bonjour. I'm so glad all of you are here today. So today I'm teaching you guys how to speak French, and we're learning from a recipe for beef shawarma. Now I'll go quickly go through here. Okay, so that's the whole recipe. Okay, so it's not a very long. I won't go through the whole recipe here because it is very long to teach you guys everything, but I will download the link for you guys in case you guys want to have the recipe for yourself. If you guys don't speak or read French, don't be afraid to just Google Translate this, guys. I have no judgment. I don't expect all of you to be perfectly fluent in French. And some of you hear beef shawarma and hey, I want to have a recipe. So don't be afraid to just simply Google Translate if that's really what you want to do. Okay, so don't feel like you can't do it, just because. Okay. Oh, you're French too. Great, Mama. Great. Of course, Mama French girl. Duh, she's so nice. Sometimes even I have my moments where the neurons don't get connected to very well. So here is the recipe for uh, shawarma. Okay, so this is the link for the recipe. So obviously, a couple of you won't need to translate, but for some of you, you may need to have that Google Translate. Which, like I said, I have no judgment one way or the other, guys. If you guys need to translate it, translate it. If you don't need it, okay, you have a nice recipe now for beef shawarma. All right, so the two ingredients for this recipe is 500 grams of beef or veal. Okay, so either the bum bum or filet mignon, depending on your personal preferences, and then the fat pieces of either beef or lamb. Okay, and that's it's not mandatory; it's a choice. So how were we going to say that in French? Okay, because obviously you guys are here to learn how to say this in French. Douce française, yeah, exactly. All right, so 500 grams. So the 500G, because obviously it uses the metric system, right? 500G or 500 grams becomes 500 grams. So 500 in French literally is 5/100. 500, right? 500. G is 500 grammes. Grammes. Okay? Like grammar. Gramme. Right? The next three words are beef or veal. So it becomes bœuf, bœuf. So you have to kind of imagine like there's two O's here. Bœuf ou or veut. Bœuf ou veut. Now, obviously, I have a very typical Quebec accent. If you're coming from another part of French speaking part of the world, like France, like Vietnam, I believe there's a few countries in Africa that speak French, like Cameroon, Algeria, Morocco. The pronunciation will be different. Okay, so the next two words, fes ou, so bum bum, okay, fes ou, so bum bum, or filet mignon. Okay, so the next two words on the underneath the 500 grams, filet mignon. Okay, de préférence, de préférence, preferable. Okay, so we're gonna reread this all together. So 500 grammes de bœuf ou veaux, fesses ou filet mignon de préférence. Right, so that's that first part here, guys. Okay, donc 500 grammes. We're going to uncheck that. We don't need that there. Okay. 500 grammes de bœuf ou veaux, fesses ou filet mignon, mignon de préférence. Préférence. Okay, so that's that first sentence, guys. Okay. There you go. All right, so that's that first sentence there. So that's the first ingredient that they're asking us to have as the base of the meat. So that's the meat. So obviously there are other parts that come with the food, right? They're not just gonna have meat here. So the next part, the two first are really the base, the meat, right? So you're gonna have pieces of fat basically from the beef or from lamb. Okay, but that's a choice. So we're gonna learn how to say that in French. And check that. There we go. Okay. Donc this first word, morceau, morceau de gras. Okay, donc morceau de gras, de bœuf, de bœuf ou d'agneau, ou d'agneau. Facultatif, facultatif, optional. Okay, so pieces of the fatty part of the beef or lamb, which is optional. Okay, morceau de gras, de bœuf ou d'agneau, facultatif. Okay, so we'll learn three more sentences, right? The next three in the marinade, so the sauce part of it. Okay, and then we're gonna call it a day, guys. All right, because obviously my lessons, like I said, I'm not here to teach the entire language in one night. It is a difficult language, a very beautiful language, but very difficult as well. So yeah, definitely. Acadian French is very different, and I think there's a lot of people in Vermont and Maine that also learn French to respect their Acadian roots as well. Because I think at one point there was a war or something, and quite a few Acadians went to the U.S. To the sort of northeast part of the U.S. to sort of escape some of the brutality that they were facing here in Quebec, but also Labrador, Newfoundland as well, unfortunately. So that's why you'll see a lot of people in the northeast part of the U.S. Learning French as well. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll continue. So, we'll, like I said, learn a couple more sentences. Like I said, I'm not here to bore you guys into, learning French. It is a very difficult language. And like I said, I'm not a teacher. I don't have any formal training in teaching. I'm really just here to give you guys a couple words in your baggage and that you guys can say and sort of whip out and impress somebody with. And hey, I know how to say 500 grams of beef in French. Just give you guys a little bit of extra tools to play around with. So, yeah. So we're gonna go into, like I said, the marinade, which is basically the sauce essentially. Okay, marinade, marinade. So we're gonna learn this first sentence, which is one teaspoon of salt. The next one is a tablespoon of ground pepper. And the next one is a teaspoon, sorry, the first one is a tablespoon of salt. The next two are tablespoons, so tablespoon of brown pepper and then Jamaican hot spice. Okay, so those are the three sentences that we're going to learn next. I'm just going to take a sip of adult drink. So, guys, there's certain keywords. Not that I'm against swearing or against using certain words. It's just, especially now that I am so close to being monetized, I'm very cautious and very aware of just how easy it is to be prevented from succeeding on YouTube because you didn't say the right thing and you have to. So that's the only reason why I'm being more conscious. So I don't say the B word. Okay, so when you think of adult drinks as an adult drink that starts with the B word, right? I'm not afraid of saying the B word or the N word or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just I'm aware that YouTube will use any excuse today, any excuse not to give you money, and to consequently keep as much money for itself as it possibly can, right? So I just kind of want to protect myself. And I do have videos that look, you hear me swear or it's clearly adult content. So for those ones, I really plan those videos ahead of time and make sure that look, the videos where I'm going to be swearing or I'm going to be, showing nudity or violence or whatever, I plan for those in advance so that way I can sort of protect myself a little bit. You do have to be, a bit cautious when it comes to, this kind of stuff. Yeah, you definitely have to protect yourself, unfortunately. But it is the reality of it, and that's kind of when you want to make money on YouTube to some degree. I'm not Jake Paul, I'm not Shane Dawson. These guys are making thousands and thousands of dollars. They can get away. I think one time, well, not one time, a few times, Shane Dawson was caught in blackface in the middle of YouTube, right? But he can get away with that. He has millions of followers, right? Millions. He's making thousands and thousands of dollars on YouTube. He can get away with doing that kind of stuff. I think it's Jake Paul or Logan Paul. One of them was at a forest in Japan that's known, unfortunately has a very bad reputation where people self-cancellate, unfortunately. And he showed a uh, somebody who had self-cancelled, okay, and he got away with it. He barely got a slap on the wrist. But again, he has millions of fans. He's making YouTube thousands and thousands of dollars every day, right? I'm not at that point in my life on YouTube, right? So if I do something naughty on YouTube, well, that may mean instant cancellation of my channel. If Jake Paul does something naughty on YouTube, okay, he loses a couple brand deals, and yeah, that sucks, but he'll get over it. The brand deals will come back to him in a few months once everybody forgot about it, and that's it. That's all, right? So until I get to become the next Jake Paul, I have to mind my p's and q's. Okay, maybe I'll start a second channel or something where, right? I'll swear like a sailor or something. I don't know. I do have a couple of other accounts and stuff, and who knows? Maybe I'll have a midnight podcast or something where I'm swear up and down, and everybody gets to say anything and everything. Who knows? That'll be an idea for another channel in another time. All right, let's get going, guys. Enough delaying, as they say. So, how do I say this sentence here? Right. So that sentence is 1 tablespoon of salt. Okay, 1 tablespoon of salt. Which, look, guys, if you can avoid my personal prerogative or preference or suggestion, if you could not add salt or sugar, just don't. So, especially a tablespoon is really a lot, right? So if you can not add salt or sugar to your recipes, that's always a much better way of going with things, guys. You really don't need to, because a lot of this other food already is salty enough as it is. You don't really need to add salt to any kind of food for it to have that kind of flavor to it. But anyways, I digress. So 1 tablespoon of salt becomes une. So one is une cuillère. So spoon, cuillère, cuillère, une cuillère à table, à table. So that's the first 4 words, guys. So une cuillère à table, sel. Okay, de sel. Okay, because I think they didn't really do a good job of constructing a really proper sentence here. So, une cuillère à table de sel. Okay, so they kind of didn't put in everything that they were supposed to, but it's okay, whatever. I'm here. Teacher Cecil, my thunder is here, and I'll guide you guys through here. But even if it's not perfectly prim and proper, it's okay. You guys are getting the idea, right, guys? So you'll get there. You'll get there. You'll be teaching me French soon enough. So we'll repeat this without the overly exaggerated French pronunciation. So une cuillère à table de sel. Une cuillère à table de sel. All right. So the next sentence, you guys already know the first 3 words. Okay. So that one will go parts of it really quickly. So, uncheck. There we go. Okay. So, une cuillère à, so 1 spoon of, une cuillère à thé, so 1 teaspoon, so teaspoon, de poivre, poivre is pepper, so now you know that the Poivre is pepper, poivre in French, poivre moulu, moulu. So you start low and you end up high in that moulu, moulu. Okay, moulu. Okay, so ground pepper. Ground is moulu. Okay, so moulu. So une cuillère à thé de poivre moulu. So a teaspoon of ground pepper. Okay, pepper, that's good for you, so that add the teaspoon. Maybe even a little bit more if you really want to build a strong heart, as they say. So the last sentence that we're going to learn tonight of French, because it's already been almost 15 minutes, and I can't believe that it's been 50 minutes. But hey, when you're having fun, it goes by fast. So you guys already know the first 4 words in the sentence. So that part is going to go quickly and easily for everybody, since you guys have obviously mastered French. And I know you guys are perfectly trilingual in many of your cases, right? You guys know French, English, and some other languages. I know you guys are humble. I know you guys are gonna come out here and tell me about it, but it's okay. Don't worry. Your secret is safe with me. I know you guys are just humoring me by saying you don't know how to speak French. I know all of you are perfectly fluent in French. I know it's okay. Don't worry. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Thank you. So the next sentence that we're going to teach, you guys obviously know the first four words now, which is une cuillère à thé. So again, 1 tablespoon. And this time, of course, we have a tablespoon of something else, which is piment or yeah, pepper. And then you have well, they're both pepper, I guess, because in French, poivre and pepper. Um, it's not quite. You have the bell pepper, and then um, hmm, how should I explain? Because it's really that's the thing. In English, pepper is pepper, no matter whether it's ground pepper or bell pepper or Jamaican pepper. While as piment and poivre aren't quite the same thing in French. Um, and I'm kind of trying to. I'm having trouble really finding the right way to explain it in a way that is understood. So I'm kind of half tempted to just leave it as it is for now. They're both basically kinds of peppers, right? Okay, so they're both ways to spice up your food, but they are different in French. Okay, so for now I'll leave it as it is, but basically piment is more the I guess one way poivre is more of the flakes, I guess, when it's ground up like ground pepper, while the piment is the actual like the original like I don't know if peppers are vegetable. I think vegetables technically, but they're still like in their like original state, like they're taken out from the ground. I guess that would be one way of making the difference between the two. Okay, so une cuillère à thé de piment de la Jamaïque. Okay, the piment, so pepper de la of the Jamaica, Jamaique, Jamaique. So when you have the, let me take that off here, with the I with the two dots on top there. I forgot what that accent is in English, what it's called in English, but it's like you have two I's there. So Jamaique, you're making it the E a little longer. Okay, so une cuillère à thé, so 1 tablespoon the piment de la Jamaïque, of Jamaican spice, okay? Or Jamaican hot spice, basically, okay? So, une cuillère à thé de piment de la Jamaïque, okay? So, 1 tablespoon of Jamaican pepper or hot spice. All right, not a problem. Shane from Great Farmer Freelance, thank you for being here. But besides, I'm basically calling it a night now, anyways. Thank you guys so very much for being here and spending 40 minutes of your time with me, whether you're following along or just listening in the background. So I'll give you guys one last little teeny tiny little French lesson here. Yeah, I'll go with this one right here. So, of course, we learned earlier what bonjour is. And now, of course, as my final goodbye to you guys, I'm going to teach you guys bonsoir, which is a way to say both hello at nighttime and also goodbye at nighttime. So, bonsoir à tous. In other words, have a good night. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you guys for being here and spending so much of your time with me. And I hope you guys have a great night. Bye to you, Shane, Paralife TV. Bye to you, Shane, Great Farmer Freelance. I hope both of you have a great night and sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite, as they say. Bonsoir, Cash Flow et Maman of French Girls. Merci à tous les deux d'être là avec moi ce soir. Même si je sais que vous comprenez très bien le français, J'apprécie énormément le temps que vous passez avec moi. Je sais que vous pouvez passer votre temps ailleurs, donc j'apprécie que vous passez un petit peu de temps avec moi ce soir. And thank you to everybody else that stopped by, including, of course, Mr. Real Estate, who spent some time with me, and the Bud Files, and of course, Diane, who spent a little bit of time. And of course, I cannot forget the first person that was in the door here, who was Mommy TV, and Granda Raka HM, who also stopped by to say, of course, hello. Oui, merci beaucoup, Cashflow. À la prochaine. See you next time. So have a good night, guys. Thank you so much for being here and spending a little bit of time with me learning French, or for those of you that already know French, that you just spent some time supporting me. So hopefully tomorrow or the day after, I'll be celebrating my monetization with you guys. Hopefully, please, please, YouTube, please. Just let me have this one W in my life, please. So hopefully I'll have that good night news or good morning news for you guys. But in any case, I thank you no matter whether I'm monetized or not. Thank you guys for being here. So on that note, have a great one, guys. Don't work too hard tomorrow. Try to enjoy a little bit of your Tuesday, whether it's at work with your family or wherever you are. So have a good night. Good night, everybody. Bonsoir. Au revoir.